Good morning, everyone. It's Ann Hine. You are on AD Create It 13 here on the Janome Artistic Digitizer Facebook page. We'll have the banner up until the top of the hour, and then I will turn the camera on. In just a moment, I'll turn on my comments. All right, let me get my comments on. Hold on as I go back here. Let's see, where are we? There we go. And comments are coming on now. So my comments are on. Good morning, Elizabeth and Cheryl. Welcome. I know there's a few more of you out there. Hi, Annika. Welcome. So you can always give a shout out to where you're coming from if you're comfortable doing that. We love to see where everybody's from. And if you're new, I keep the banner up for the first 5 minutes, and then I turn the camera on and we get started. This way it gives everybody a chance to find our page, get situated with a cup of coffee, cup of tea, maybe a water, whatever you need, and get your class notes. I did post the class notes, and I did post them, so you can go and download those and print them out if you want. We still have time for that. And so good morning, Dee and Kathleen. Costa, welcome. Hi, Margaret. Oh, how is it up there in Syracuse? Down here, we had rain last night. Today, we're supposed to have wind. Maybe no rain, I'm hoping. And then tomorrow, in the morning, they said a frost. I can't believe it. I'm ready. I'm ready for spring. So, hope everybody's doing well and getting some projects done. I have some fun stuff today to talk about, but I'm going to wait. Hi, Marty and Margaret. Let's see who else. Barbara and Ruth. Welcome. Kay, good morning. Oh, it's sunny up in BC. I'm hoping for some sun here, but I don't know. Tuesday was our best day, really. Hi, Jean. Or is it Jeannie? Hi, Britt. Welcome. Yeah, we're getting quite a group. Hi, Henriette. Welcome, welcome. Yep, so we're getting close. We're a little over a minute till I put on the camera and get to see you all. Oh, cold with some snow. Oh, I know. I think we just have a little bit more of this cold weather and then we'll be into spring. I just hope it doesn't go from like cold weather to super hot. You know how that happens? Like one day, I like a little bit of spring, some nice weather before we get that brutal hot stuff. That's what I would like. Good morning, Linda. Welcome, Marie. Welcome. Oh, the sun is shining in Paris. Oh, nice. That is nice when that happens. Yep. All right, so here we go. We're counting down to the last little bit. And if you're new, welcome. I did post to the page our class notes for today. So you're welcome to print those out before class or just pick them up after class. That's fine. They'll be in the guides after. Well, I put them, I think I moved them there already. So you can find them there. Hi, Janice. Welcome. And Nancy from Olympia. Cold and sunny. Yes, that Washington weather can be that way. I lived out there for 10 years, and that was the 10 years I didn't have a tan. So not that I need a tan, but hi, Christine. Welcome. All right, so we're getting down there really close. Very, very close. Here we go. Oop, there it is. Let me go here. And good morning, everyone. Welcome to Janome Live. And I just want to say we're some exciting stuff's going to happen to our page, and that's kind of where I want to start today once we all get settled. So welcome to our page. You have found us on the Janome Artistic Digitizer Facebook page, where all the fun happens over here. So just really quick, I mentioned about the class notes. So I always post them the morning of the event, and then you can download them, print them out if you want. They will be saved to the page. They're always in the guides, and they're usually put right with their own video. So you'll have the video and the class notes, so you'll see that together. All right. And I am Ann Hein, in case I didn't say that enough times and you don't know who I am. I'm a Janome educator from Janome America. And basically, not basically. I do a lot. I was traveling a lot, but you know we don't travel right now. I will be traveling as things change, as we all change. But right now I'm doing a lot with the Artistic Digitizer, and I'll continue that way. So that leads me into part of my big announcement. I can tell you some things, but I can't tell you everything. One of the big things that's going to happen is Janome is going to have all their lives, including ours, over on their main page. And I don't know if you're familiar with that. We have our Janome sewing machine page, we have the Janome classroom page, and then we have the Janome Artistic Digitizer page. So they have these 3 pages, and different things happen in different places. So they're bringing it all together, and they're going to have it a little more organized. So Tuesdays will be, I think, tips and tricks. Wednesday is more of a project-based thing. Thursday is AD, every Thursday, all the time. So that's me. I'll be every Thursday over on that page. And then Friday they're doing, I think it's going to be like an open mic. You'll be able to submit questions ahead of time, and they'll be answered live during the live. So how that's going to work is, instead of me posting here on Thursday mornings at 11, I'll be on the Janome sewing machine page at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time every Thursday over there. So, and then what's going to happen over on our page, I think we're going to be able to link it. I will actually save it to our page, so it is actually saved in our guides, so it'll still be there. I think we can link it while it's happening to show up on the page. Maybe we have to do a watch party or something like that. I'm not really sure how that's all going to work, but I will be doing 1 live a week over there on Thursdays. So what does that leave for our page? It still makes it wonderful. First of all, I love that we're going to be part of the bigger Janome part. So I think that's really important that we do it that way. And there'll be some fun things coming down. Janome has a big announcement to make. Actually, I can make it next Thursday, so come back over there. Next week, I will be on the Janome sewing machine page doing my little video. So I'll be over there so we can I'll tell you the big announcement then. What I'm going to do on our page is I'm going to continue with probably with the Tuesdays, and I don't know if they're going to, I'll probably continue a little bit with Skill Builder. I do have some dates I have to be away, so I can't actually post on a Tuesday. So I may do some other things where I make a recording and I post that, so you'll see that. I did a little pop-in the other day. Some of you saw my little video. I was testing out my systems, because one of the things that's going to happen is I will be traveling for personal stuff, for fun, and then working at the same time. So a little bit of both. And so you've been hearing about our travel trailer. We did get our travel trailer yesterday, and we're getting it all set up. So that's going to be my mobile studio. And my plan is to be able to do my lives on the road in the trailer. So part of that, what I was testing is if I can hotspot. There's all that other stuff you guys probably don't need to know, but you may see me popping on over the next few weeks. I'm testing out different systems and how things are going to look in different places. So if you see me pop on or you missed it, don't worry, you haven't missed anything. I'm just doing a little test. The official videos I do will have the banner. So even if you pop on, you haven't missed anything. So I don't want anybody to worry. So going forward, next Thursday, we will be over at the Janome Sewing Machine page. And then on Tuesdays, I'll continue my Tuesdays with Skill Builder for a little bit. You'll figure it out next week. I'll tell you how the schedule's going to go. And then we'll still have some fun things. I really think I want to do kind of like that open mic kind of thing where, first of all, I'll ask you during the week to post your questions, and then I'll be on Tuesday and I'll answer them live. And if there's any more questions, I can answer there. So we can have this little dialogue like that. And I think that's going to work. I think that'll work pretty well. So we're working out the details on that part of it. That will always happen on our page. I'm always going to be doing at least one video on our page. So we have that. All right, I'm going to double check what's going on over here because people are coming in. And I know there was some comments. Let's see if there's any comments. I didn't look as I was going. We got quite a few people on today. Let's see. It's sunny, nice in some places. Oh, a little bit of blue. Let's see. Okay. Oh, thank you, Kathleen. I know. I think it's going to make it easier on the road with AD. Yeah. Where in the world is Anne? So there we go. Yeah, I think it's going to make it easier for people to find the video, to see it when it's over there on the main page. I just think it's going to be a little bit smoother transition, but those videos will still come over to our page. So we'll still have them as our resource. And I'll also be doing some particular ones right here on the page for our group here. So we're still going to have that part of it with that part. We're just going to do one main one over there. And next week, I'll let you in on the schedule and the great big announcement. There's a little bit more to it, but I wanted to let you know it's coming. So next week I'll put a notice up that I'll be at 3 o'clock at the other ones. It'll be a little bit different. Got to change up my morning routine now. So, all right. So that being said, some of you might have noticed, it's this side. Okay. I'm wearing my jacket that I did the other day. I showed some pictures over the weekend. There's my jacket. This is, I love this stuff. This is a sport heat transfer vinyl, and it's so soft. You know how sometimes when you put vinyl on and it's crinkly or whatever? This is I haven't washed it, so I don't know yet, and I wouldn't put it in the dryer. But it's so very soft, especially like I'm trying to look in there and it's opposite it's so soft even touching here. So this is the front. Okay, so I did the front, and I'm going to take it off so you can see the back and I can hold it up. So hold on one second while I take this off. I like things to be front and back so that it just doesn't end, at your shoulder. So let me hold this up. So right up here, you can see that big leaf. Let's see if I can do it. There we go. You can see a little bit of the front right there. And I brought it up and over and then down the back. And let me hold this up this way so we can see it better. All right. So I did it across the back like that. Everybody see that? Now this jacket has the seaming on the outside. It's serged together with sort of a gold, bronzy look thread. So I've been waiting for a long time because I wanted to do something special with this. And you're all going to laugh when I tell you about this jacket. I bought this jacket for like $1 at Goodwill. And now I have a beautiful, if I could put it back on because I'm chilly. Now I have a beautiful jacket to wear that cost me like just the cost of that vinyl, which is probably the more expensive part of it. So I'm just loving this. I'm loving the look of it and how it is. And I'm going to show you how I got the most out of my vinyl piece, because that's important. When you're cutting these vinyls and things like that, there could be a lot of waste, and we want to try not to have a lot of waste. So I'm going to show you a picture of the screen of how I place them all on the mat so you can see, and then how I go to cut it. So I'm just going to double check. So if you're new to the page, I do check every so often over here for questions. So if you have a question, you can definitely post it to the page. I always try to answer when I'm here if I can. Some people answer for me. That's always wonderful. But I always go back afterwards and I answer questions. So Post your questions there. Don't feel like you're nagging me if you have to post it twice or if you have to post it again to the page. We love questions. We love answering questions. So please, please, please post your questions. And I want to segue a little bit about questions. If you're having any type of little issue or you can't get something done, don't struggle. Come to the page, put in a comment, and ask for some help because we can help you. Why struggle for days trying to do something when we can tell you? And sometimes it's helpful if we know if you're on a Mac or a PC, and if you can have screenshots. And sometimes it's good to have your whole screenshot because I've worked with some people who, this won't work, and when they finally show me their screenshot, they have their hoop icon highlighted, and nothing else will work if your hoop icon is highlighted. Remember, I always say over on the side, always go up to select. If anything's blue over there, if anything's highlighted, you probably won't be able to use some of the tools. So that's some helpful things when you go to post. Give us some good descriptions of what you're trying to do. Not, I just can't do anything with the software. I'm not sure where you're coming from. So we'll do that. So if you're having a question or whatever, post it here, or you can post it on the page too. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the software and show you my how I laid it out before I sent it to the cutter. I don't have, I do have these. I'll show it after the picture. So I don't have the negative area of where I pulled it off, and you'll understand that in just a moment. So let me put on the software. There we go. And I always have to move this little window. And I'm going to open, here it is here. All right, so here is my mat. And I don't always work with a mat, but I did in this case. And I know the vinyl I was using was 12 inches. So this is about 12 inches square. Let me see how big my piece is. My width is 10.9, almost 11 inches. So I know I have enough room on either side of my vinyl because my vinyl was 12 inches wide and it was actually 15 inches long. And so what I did, a lot of times I've been telling you when you work with vinyl, you put your design down and you want a frame around it. Typically that's when you're working with one design, just one area. If you're going to cut something out of one piece and you have multiple pieces of that, you can lay it out like this. And then what I did is I drew a line right here and I made this a cut line so that when my vinyl is laid on my cutting mat, it will lay here and then go down further because it's 15 inches long. And I taped it at the bottom here to hold it down. So what happens is I send this to the cutter. It's going to cut everything up here and this line. So now it's only going to cut through the top and not the carrier. Now I can peel off all this other area over here, right? All this empty space, the negative, and it will leave just these pieces. So, and I would actually make this all one color and I'll show you what it looks like in the cutter window. I'm not going to cut this, but let's see, we'll just go here. There we go. And it's a cut over there. Let's go to the cutter and see the cutters. And it's not going to connect, but it still will show us the window. All right, so here's the cutter window. And, you know what? Some of those designs are not cuts. That's why they're not showing. See how I have spaces right here? These are ones that I didn't assign a cut line to, so they're not going to cut. So I'm going to go back and show you. Let's get everything selected. Let's make it a cut file. Let's do our cutter presets, vinyl. All right, now we'll go to File, Export to Cutters. It's not going to connect, we know that, but there we go. So now you can see everything that's going to cut. And I didn't cut a frame on this one because I knew I was going to max out the width of the vinyl, so that's okay. And I set my, my cutter, I always put my cutter up here to start. So I knew from this start to this line how much space that was, okay? And so it would cut everything up here, and then it cut this line. So when I took it off the mat, I could start peeling right here. So any of my vinyl that's over here, that would be down here on my mat, didn't get touched at all. And it just made it easier to pull it off. And then once I had it pulled off, I could cut between those and have individuals. So let me show you what those look like. I'm just going to double check back here. We're doing good. All right, so I'm going to put the camera on because I have the ones that are cut apart. Let's see here. All right, so after it was cut, these were all on one piece, like they were really close together, like this, well, even closer. And then I just cut them apart to keep them on their carrier. So they're still on their carrier. It's hard to show the clear part, but you can kind of see that little, if I lay them down here, you can see they have a little bit of carrier around them. And this is actually the heat sensitive side. This will be the nice side, and this is the shiny part of your carrier. So after I got done, I pulled them, I just cut them apart. So I had all these individual ones that I could place. And I didn't waste a lot because I kept putting them, you know how I put them close together. And then I decided there were still spaces. So I made little dots, and I put dots, different size dots in there to use that up. And then I could have put a different shape in there and used that for some other thing. So that negative space, you want to look at your negative space and see how much you can fill that in. Let me go back to the software and show you what I'm talking about so you can understand. So when you're here, see how I added these little circles in to fill in? I made some of the roses small, some large, and I just kind of squished them in wherever I could. Now you'll notice my big boo-boo in the center. I did not reverse this, and I should have, but I could actually, I decided I didn't want to use my initials on this, but I can actually use them. I turned the H upside down. It seemed to work out okay. But anyways, you can fill in any of these open spaces with more designs as long as you're leaving enough space to cut apart your pieces. So I would just cut each of these out. So does that make sense to everybody? How that works, how you can make that work? If I only wanted to cut, you know, maybe I wanted a 6-inch block, I would make everything fit in that little 6-inch area if I wanted to cut it all out of one color. That way you save a lot of vinyl and you don't end up peeling off vinyl that you're going to throw away. Because once you peel it off the carrier, it's really, I guess you could cut it with scissors, but it's kind of wieldy. And this one is stretchy. This is the Sport vinyl, and it's actually a bit stretchy. I took it to my press. What I actually did is I laid it all out on the table with all of the ones stuck down on there. This carrier is not as sticky as I'd like. So I used a little bit of tape to hold them till I got it to the press. And then I was able to lay the whole thing on the press, carefully remove the tape so everything stayed in place. And then I put my press cloth, and then I pressed it for the cycle of the press, which is about 15 seconds on high. I think I did a high. And then I lifted it up and checked them carefully. And if one wasn't working, I just put it all back down and did it again. So that's what you have. And let it cool is the thing, is you need to let it cool. And when you go to peel these off, because they're stretchy and they're on a stretchy knit, they almost look like they're peeling off, but they are staying on there. So you just have to make sure all your edges are down. The other thing, and I'm going to go back to the other camera, the other thing I finished, and I did post a picture. If you look through the pictures, you'll see the picture of my vinyl where I have kind of have it in the background where I haven't cut everything off of it yet, so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. I also got my sticky vinyl on here, so let me go back to my... So I was able to, let me take this out of there. There we go. So I was able to get my vinyl on here. Isn't that cute? I just love this little bottle. I might have to go get a couple more because I want to make them for some people. So that was layering. Remember we talked about layering. So I actually put it on, it's a sticky bottle, it's sticky back. So I applied it to this bottle. This says permanent on it. I haven't tested that yet. I did wipe the glass off. I have alcohol pads, so I wiped it off, let it dry for quite a while before I went and applied. So it didn't have any oils or anything on it, any dirt. So there's that. And then you all saw my polka and dot bags. Here we go. There's polka and dot. This is a heat vinyl also, and it has little holes in it. So let me see if I can get it close. It's going to be hard. I don't know if the camera will. Oh, there you can see a little bit on the P. So this is a purchased bag that I got at the local craft store, and then I just did my lettering. And what I showed you last week is doing a letter and then doing the rest of the word as a separate piece. So you don't have to have it all as one item, and then you can make the letters as close or as far apart as you want. And I also showed how to make that little shadow on the letters. So that was last week's Create It. So if you go back to Create It 12, you'll see what we did on that. I think I did it 2 weeks in a row. 1 week was the software. Second week was the at the cutter. All right, so let's go back to the software. And, oops, it's not going back. Let's see here. Here we go. All right, now just double check over here. Oh, no, it's snowing in Cincinnati on opening day. Oh, fun. That's always fun. All right. So that's on the vinyl part of it. I think I've covered that pretty well. And, you know, I may go back to it at another point as we work through the year, because it's always fun to play with vinyl and cutting paper and doing some other things too with the cutter. So I will revisit the cutter again on that part of it. All right, so let's talk about another topic today. And I just realized I have a spelling error on the, I need an assistant to read these for me. So we're going to do a thing with making patterns. I know our developer Costa posted a video on making patterns, and I do suggest that you watch it. It has a lot of information, and you can see the sample. But you know, I always like to do some things slightly differently or use a different shape. So I wanted to show you something that I created with making patterns. And I'm going to go to a new page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with a letter. Now, so making patterns, what the video was about is taking a shape and then putting another shape on top of it and creating your fill pattern from that shape. So let me just show you some fill patterns in case you didn't know they were over here. So over here in your properties under fill, when you go here, you have all these patterns. And, well, if you got to select your piece for them to show. There we go. And let me scroll in here a little bit. There we go. So you see the pattern that's on there? So you can make your, instead of having this, when you have a fill, you could have something like that. And you can always do the stitch, you can use stitch flow and move the direction of those around. Sometimes it changes your stitch, and you won't be able to recognize it, but there you go. So you can do that with it. You can also do a little bit of this. But you have to, some designs are not going to work that way. They're not going to fill well when you curve them. Some will work very well. Maybe if I did it this way. Hang on. There we go. So you can see how, even though it's off a little down here, you can see how my line, when I curve it, has done a little bit with the shape. I would have to play with this more because it's getting kind of wonky over there. And then you could just click off of it if you don't like it. So those are the patterns that are built in. And the whole thing about the video that was posted is you can create your own patterns. And some softwares call this stamps, I believe, or what was the other word someone told me? I can't think of what the other word is, but it's like, so it's you're going to be creating your own shape on top of whatever shape you're making. So I'm going to delete this. And I made a shape using lettering. And I used the the built-in fonts, and I'm not sure which one I used because I was on my other computer. So I'm just going to pick this one because it's chunky. And, oh, wait a minute. I know which one it was, I think. Let me see. It had a little angle to it. That one does. When I switch back and forth from computers, sometimes I don't take the notes back over what I did on the other one. I always forget. Okay, so let's see. We'll just pick a chunky one because that's really what I want. This one is moving. Oops. We'll use this one. Okay, so I'm going to create a letter. So there's my letter, and I'm going to select it. I'm going to move it over here to the middle, and I'm going to make it bigger like this. So it's a giant letter, and there we go. I have an extra screen for my streaming, and sometimes when my arrow hits that, it doesn't want to create things. So I'm just going to make this big. So here's my shape. And let's say I'm going to center this. I could go over here and I could pick a pattern and I could fill this shape if I wanted to. But really what I want to do is I want to put my own shape within my shape. So I'm going to go back to, and I'm actually going to give that an outline too. I'm going to go back to my text and I'm going to click here so I know it's going to print right in there. And I'm just going to pick another text like maybe this one. And I'm going to put in an H like that. Oh, that's going to be interesting. So I'm going to bring this down here. I'm going to select it. And I'm actually going to make it just a little bit smaller. Okay. So what I want to do is take my H and make more H's on my H over here. Sort of like I'm going to make my own type of fill. And so what you do is, and I sort of wrote the directions down here. So you have your big shape and then you have your small shape. And my small shape does not have an outline because I set up my default to not for lettering to not have an outline. So I'm going to click here and give it an outline, but I'm going to delete the fill. So now I just have the outline of my letter, which is what I need. And then I need to click on this one and I need to duplicate that. So I'm going to go right here and duplicate. And then I need to select my little h and my big H. And after I do that, I'm going to go over here to my properties and go to fill, and I'm going to select array. And for some, oh, maybe it did go in there. It's hard to see. Let me find a spot where you guys can see. So you can kind of see in the middle here of my screen. Let me get my cursor going. Right in here, you can kind of see the H is in there. You can see it over here too. It's very hard to see in the very beginning. There's a part of it. So it is in there, but I can work with the different types of fits. I do like shape fit, but let me show you what some of the other would look like if I did circular. It's very hard to see, and I apologize. It's hard to show because I have to keep them the same color. Let's see what's happening here. It's like part of the letters are, oh, here. So see the one in the middle here? This one is showing. So you can play around with that, and you can play with your spacing. And I think I want my spacing to be, I don't know. I think I had this figured out earlier. There we are. So now they're a little bit closer together. There's probably more on here that you can see. So once you can play with all of the angle, and that we've played with these before when we were using the array fill. I think I did array fill on Tuesday with the skill builder. So you have all these tools to change what that letter is doing, and you can see here in the sequence window what it's looking like. So if I change the spacing here, let me do point, get it closer. It kind of moves them closer. I'm not going to worry so much just yet because there's a little trick that you can do. So once I have this fitted out where I want it, thank you, Linda. I just noticed I had my other screen covering all that stuff up. once you have that done and you've done all the changes that you want to make to that letter, okay, as long as you've made all your changes, then you can go to separate to objects. Maybe I can, and here's my steps. Maybe I can make 7 steps and see what that, there it is. It fills in a little bit more. And I'm on circular, so I'm going to go back because I think I wanted shape fit. There we go. And start angle, horizontal spacing, vertical spacing. Brings them in a little closer. So once you get it where you want, that's where you come down here and you separate to objects. Once you've done that, you want to select your outlines, and I'm going to pull back so you can see I've got my outline selected, and I'm going to click on vector. And I'm going to click off of this a little bit so you can see. So now you can see how it sort of punched that H into my other piece. That's pretty cool. I could come over here and use my stitch flow. Let's see. I think I want this one. There we go. And I could come over here and play with stitch flow a little bit with direction and make my stitches move around that way if I wanted to play with that. Okay, so it could enhance what you're doing there. Then once I'm done with that, I'm going to select my, oops, let's turn that off. I'm going to select the inside letters. Let's back up here off of there. There we go. I'm going to select my outline shapes and I'm going to ungroup them. So I'm going to right click and ungroup. And once I ungroup, each of these are, you know, their own person. You know what I mean? They're individual. So if I don't like that, I can take that one away and delete it. This one here is the, oops, go back. This one here, I really like this full one in the middle. There we go. So I can take that and I can duplicate that. And then I can move it over, move my duplicate. There we go. Over here. And I could make it smaller. Let's make it a little smaller. And I could drag it over here. And now I can put those, let me clear it off so you can see. So I can now put that H anywhere I want over here. And of course I still have, when I select it, I can resize it. I can skew it if I want. I could do this kind of stuff. So now I can put them anywhere. So in any of these spaces, I can delete these other ones I don't want, use this nice full one and fill that in. So it's a great way to play with patterns. I mean, you don't have to use a letter. You might want to create a pattern. Maybe you've made working with a design that you've converted and it's an animal and you want to have it look like it has layers of fur. You could probably make a little shape and copy and paste, you know, and array that onto your shape and make more, just make your shape have a little more definition than just one of the shapes that we already have, one of the patterns we already have. So hopefully you'll play with that. You want to make sure you go back and watch the video and you can see all that, what they show you in the video, how to do it, and they do an actual shape and the things that you can play with. So make sure you go back and take a look at that. I always have fun with this and I forget that I can do this. And then when I see it again, I do that, duh, I got to do it. So I just want to make sure you guys are taking a look and checking those things out. All right, so the last thing I want to show today is we've been looking at, and I think I have one that's saved. Oh, let me show you this one. This is my H from earlier. And so when I got done, I only did this, the right-hand side. I copied my H into there and filled it up. I am working on using my whole last name and putting the whole last name in there. So I kind of played around with that too. So you have to play around and try different things. That's the great thing about the software. You don't have to stitch everything out. You can play around with it. And sometimes when I'm playing, I'll make a little note of the steps I'm doing so that I can go back and recreate it, because sometimes I forget. So keep a little notebook next to you so you can write down some little notes of, I clicked array here and I clicked vector here and form fill. Oh, that's probably the part I forgot is the form. Let me go back. Is when we're here, form fill. I think I had to do that earlier. That makes a change to it too. So go follow the video and you'll see that. So I want to go back and look at these. I'm just going to pull up one I did and then I'm going to show you how to do these. Everybody's asking about how to do these, right? And this is a very simple one. It's not as twisty as some of the ones you've seen on the page, but I want to show you the technique and then you can create from there. And this one was actually created 2 different ways. And I want to thank, we had a member post how to do this. And while I was working it up, so they're speedy people, that's wonderful. I love that part of it. I did this 2 different ways. I'll show you the way I did this top part, but this little part right in here, this is where I used auto border. And it did not bring the shapes down in here close together as the technique I used for the first part. And I think it's because auto border, when you give it auto border and you say you want the lines, 0.003 apart or whatever, it's going to keep the lines the same distance apart all the way around. Whereas when you do the technique that I'm going to show you here, it's not going to keep the shape the same. It's just going to make the reduction proportional to the other part of it, is really what I'm going to say. All right. So how I did this one, just to show you guys, I started with a shape here, and I'm going to just move to the side to get it. So I made a shape like this. Then I went to my circular array, and I'm going to bring this over here because it likes to be in the center. And then I brought them in like this. So they made a shape. And then up here, I could change my step count. I could have more or less, however I wanted to do it. And I wanted 7 of these petals. So you can see I have 7. And once I got it where I wanted, I'm not very good at drawing. I was going to draw a fluttery shape, but I just could not. My drawing skill yesterday and today was not working where I wanted it to work. I'm going to hit apply, so it's going to keep that. And then I'm going to go to shaping and weld. And now I have, an almost full piece. Let me go back here if I can do undo. Let me just put a circle in the center of that. I didn't bring them in close enough. There we go. Now I'm going to select all of this. I want it all one piece. Oops. Let's turn these things off. Here we go. Let's take all of this. And now I can do shaping and weld. There we go. And I could use Magic Wand to fill this in if I wanted to. Now I only need the outline on this. So I'm going to delete my fill. And then there's my shape I'm going to work with. I'm going to go up here to duplicate. I'm going to make sure proportional is checked. And then I'm going to make this 95. And see how it went in a little bit? Now if I don't check proportional, I think I have to put 95 in both of these maybe. Well, let's do a duplicate. Let's take this one and duplicate and make this 95 and see if we can see a difference. And it moved it a little bit to the side. So you could do, if you wanted it to kind of curve a little bit, let's do another one of those. Duplicate 95. And you can see how it's starting. Duplicate 95. Now, if you do the proportional, it's going to bring them to the center equally. And if you don't, it's going to make a little bit more of a twist. So you have that. So you're hitting duplicate, 95%, and then return. and it's starting to, I'm going to click off of that. It's starting to make that turn. So you can do it like this. This is keeping it proportional all the way down. And you can experiment with your designs and see how you like, what you like with them and how you want it to work. And it really, based on your shape, you can get some really, really creative things. So what I really wanted to do, and I didn't put the homework in there, I really want you to play with some of the patterns, create a pattern and post it to the page with your, all you do is take a little picture of it, a screenshot up close of the piece you made with your shape on it so we can see the different types of patterns you're making. The other thing I'd like is if you guys would make a few of these and take a look at what people are doing and just experiment a little bit with different shapes and different things that you want to work with. I mean, you could draw, and I'm just not good at this. You could draw yourself, a little wavy shape, but I am so not good at this. So this is where I need to follow a little, I need to really trace something. So if you can find something you can trace, you can, like a butterfly wings are nice too, because they have that nice flow to them. You could do like butterfly wings. There's lots of things out there. You can create shapes, use your shapes tool over here like I did and create other shapes so you don't actually have to draw them. As I always say, nobody has to be an artist to do this. You can find different ways around drawing things and getting things set up that way. So let me turn the camera back on. And I'm going to see if there's any questions. I think I covered everything. Yeah. Oh, let me just show you auto border. And I'll take this last one. So if I did auto border and I went up here and I did auto border and I want to do it to the inside. Let's first do that, to the inside. And I wanted, the magic number I had, I think, was 0.04. And I'm in inches. And I don't have to do that. And I want running, and I'm going to repeat it. Let's just repeat it like 4 times. And then okay. So, and you have to play around with the distance. Let me click off of it. So it's keeping it really the same. We're not getting that twist. Like, let me go in here really close. So these are the 4 I did, and they're see the distance right here? It's the same. Where up here, this distance, they're coming in closer. So they're starting to do this kind of a thing where your auto border did not. Now there's other ways. There are some videos out there where you can use your, you can take your shape and use the D and your mouse to drag and duplicate that way. You can do use holding shift down and press to resize. And of course, Control R is to make as many repeats as you want to. So you can play with those kind of controls if you like to. Some people, that makes it a little quicker for you to work with. These are really cool, and I think stitching these out are going to be very interesting too. I'm going to have to play with mine a little bit. It's like working with a spirograph. Really, really fun. All right, so I'm going to go back and I'll check the camera and I will check on our any comments that we may have over here. Everybody's been so quiet and good. I think we're good. All right. So if you have a question, I'll hold up a minute if there's any questions, either on this or if there's anything else that you might have for a question. Now we'll all be running out to Goodwill to get some. I found some really, that little jacket. I don't know if you know the one I showed one time with the crystals on it, and it's sewn with the seams on the outside. It's a denim jacket. I love that jacket. That was like my Goodwill steal. I mean, I was just down there looking for something else, and I'm like, ooh, this would be good to put stuff on. A lot of times when I'm looking for samples, that's what I'll do. It's very easy to find some things to make samples. So hopefully you guys you'll play a little bit with this. It's not always about digitizing that, that super fine picture. There's so many things. I always like to do different things than other people are doing. and then it becomes unique to me. And people look at it and they're like, "Ooh, how did you do that?" They don't know what you did, and either how easy it is or how hard it was. These things today are not that hard to do. Anybody can do them, and I'm excited to see your creations because I love your creations. Really inspire me. On Tuesday, we worked with Create Floral, and I think it was Kay mentioned you could do a Create Floral and make the V neck of a shirt. So I have a couple shirts picked out I want to work on with that. We'll see. I think she's probably going to get hers up and done before I will, but they'll be there. All right. Let's see. Old sweatshirts are, yep, old sweatshirts. You can refashion them. You can vinyl them, all kinds of things. Oh, and ultra suede. I know. You can find lots of ultra suede at there, and then you can cut that up. I mean, people buy sweaters there and, felt them. So it's a great resource of our throwaways that we have. And you can find unique items. There's lots of great places to do that. Okay, so I think we are set today. We're a little short, but I think that's okay. Now, next week I will announce, I'll let you know that I'm going to be over on the Janome Sewing Machine page. You all know how to find that page, right? That's our main page where everything's going to happen. They're going to announce on Monday, I think, a calendar of what's happening that week, who's going to be on and what they're doing. So you'll be able to plan out your week. The other educators will be on there too. I know some of you have your favorites. We have Miriam and Alba. Who else has been working over there? I hate to miss anybody's name. Sam has been doing some, myself. And of course, we have some of our makers, and our national spokesperson, Kimberly Imo's been doing some too. So you'll be able to see all of us in one place, and I think that's great. But I will also be coming over here and doing things too, because this is my place. This is where we play. And I like hanging out with you guys. All right, let me double check one last time. Kay's busy doing Easter things. Yeah, we're going to take our travel trailer out this weekend. So I may do an impromptu a test because we'll be away from Wi-Fi and stuff. So I'll have to see if my hotspot works. So I may just pop in like a little Easter bunny to see what's up and if it's all working. And in my new mobile studio. All right, everyone. I'm going to let you go. Have a great day today. Watch for announcements on the page because some fun stuff's happening. And thank you for coming and hanging out with me in my studio. Have a great one. Bye-bye for now.